Thank you all and welcome back to Breathing is Highly Dangerous. This is Manny here with my sister, Christiana.
And our mother.
Joined on video call by her mother.
Hello, everyone.
Alright, and today, as the title suggests, we're going to be talking about friendships. Which is another very important relationship that goes along with the relationship videos I've been talking about and I'll get into. So, let's define friend. How do you define friend so we can all be on the same terms?
How do I know someone's a friend?
Yes.
I'll answer. I really don't understand. I don't get it how I used to make friends. Hold on. Let me think. I don't know. It's just like when you're just nice to each other and like then you start sharing stuff and then you share the same humor. Honestly, I usually know someone's a friend if we're like laughing at the same thing. We're like texting each other. It's like the mutual energy. Like I want to be friends with you, they want to be friends with me, and you feel it. And then you become friends.
Yeah, I think I agree. A friend is someone you basically have things in common with, and you just enjoy their company, and they enjoy yours. But at some point where there's like someone that you can trust to tell your secrets to, and they can tell their secrets to you, and nobody else will hear about it because you keep that person what they tell you in your heart and not to another person.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
That is a good way to see if someone's a friend. Tell them something. It could be fake. That's a good way to test someone, but it's a bit toxic. Is tell them something deep.
But a friend also will tell you when you're doing stuff wrong too. If there's a portion of things in your life you don't necessarily have right, and if that friend will correct you in love, and again vice versa. You don't always have to agree, but you can agree to disagree about some things.
Yeah.
Or, again, it may be things about yourself that you may not know.
Right.
And that friend can tell you, and you all still be good friends.
Right. And I think that having someone that's trustworthy is a good person to have as a friend, and usually that people that show you that you could trust them, and then you show that right back to them, is a good way.
Reciprocation.
Yeah, reciprocation. That's
mutual.
Yeah.
Equal.
Being mutual. But one thing I do want to touch on is that not all friends are gonna be like you. I do have friends that don't laugh at things that I do, but we're still friends and we still appreciate each other. But because like we have things in common, but it's not gonna be everything, and that's also good. It's good to have that variety.
I guess it's
variety. Yes, and also too, just because you like. If you're a Christian, you don't necessarily have to have friends that are Christians. They can have different beliefs, but the thing that connect you is love.
That's true, Mom. But I'm gonna have to say that when we were growing up, that's not what you always thought.
Yeah, that's because I was brought up under false religion. And that's what we couldn't even at the point where you guys were growing up. I was in a church, but I would call it a cult today because we couldn't communicate with other religions.
Okay.
No, that's fine. She can talk.
But we're talking just about friends, Mom, today.
No, that's important.
You'll get your time for the cult later. But
join me on Trust or Truth, and we'll talk about that.
Okay, but I was just saying that you can have different friends of different races, creed, and religion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's how you learn how the world operates, is having different types of friends.
Yeah. So how do you make friends, Mr. I don't have friends?
How do I make friends?
Like what would you describe?
The friendship thing for me, that is the delineation between what a friend is, what an acquaintance is, and then a best friend, which is still the role of a friendship. It's like, I've had, quote, friend, unquote, throughout my life, but in terms of having all those things met, like what you would do with a friend, like having that trust, having that reciprocity in terms of, you know, humor, loving, you know, enjoying similar things. It's like, I just adapt to anyone at any time. I can like anyone at any time. I can be anyone's friend. It doesn't mean it's like, it's weird because I care about and like most people, there's very few people in my life that I wouldn't have, you know.
I feel like it's because you
I adapt to people.
But
I just match energies, not change myself. That is myself.
So you're a chameleon.
Yeah, I'm the best adjuster I know.
But if you do that with everybody, it's hard for you to let people in.
Be yourself.
Right. I don't. Because I don't trust people.
That's because you treat everybody the same.
Right.
Because
I treat everybody the same.
That's what I mean. Like,
and I know what people...
To an extent, that's a good thing. But if you want to have somebody that you could trust instead of people having you to trust.
Right. I don't mind. I don't care. I don't need to trust people. Because I've seen what people are capable of. I'm not putting that on everyone. But if you present a certain quality that is something I cannot have and something I can't give you trust with, I'm not going to give you that because trust is earned. Like when my standard of earning trust,
to be able to
right,
earn.
I give
trust.
people Right, I give people is like the testing thing. I do that too much.
That's toxic. I said it was toxic.
It's not, because I do it with simple things, and if you can't be trusted with this small amount of information,
but
that's not deemed as not important. Like that could be like for them to share that with me, they think that's important. Like anything anyone tells me, I say that is in confidentiality unless they say I can share it with someone else or purposely tell me to share it with something else. If I tell someone something, even if it's not important, and I tell it to this specific person, and then it winds up coming back to me from another person because I don't have the same conversation with people. I have a different conversation. So if I know if it's coming back from another person, I'm like, I know exactly who this came from. So, and that's not even necessarily a bad thing. It's just like, why did you feel that was necessary? Like now, because it was something that was unimportant.
Did you tell that to them?
No.
Come on, man.
That's a self-correction. That's an integrity thing. That's a personal integrity thing. Because I don't...
And that goes back to being if you're a friend...
right, the correction of it. But I don't care. That's not a quality I need in them. Because then, if they don't have it, we're not on the same level right now. We're not equally yoked, as you would say. Like, why would I want a friendship and... why would I want to have to lift this person up?
Wait, did you tell that person that you didn't want that to be told?
No, because I didn't care. Anything I tell anybody, it can be told to anyone. I don't care if people have it.
Sometimes you gotta...
But it's the test.
So you continue to play mind games.
It's not a mind game.
Yeah, he do. He play a mind game.
It's not a mind game. It's natural life. It's what happens. It's seeing people's own integrity.
The way you think and the way you process stuff, because maybe because you probably been, when you grow up by yourself all the time, it's not a good thing to isolate yourself and not allow people.
No, it's actually a great
thing. Because in life, again, a friend could do something, say something harmful, that may seem to be hurtful to you. But if you tell that person, okay, what you said, I was hurt,
and they grow from
then
it.
they say, well, what I said was true.
Right.
Then you have to, evaluate both sides.
Right. Your side
You
first.
cannot go on life
Evaluate
being
your
isolated.
One can.
Without
It's
friends.
better. It's an improvement. It's a benefit to life, not a necessity
Especially when you want
to
to
life.
work with people.
No, friends are a benefit to life, not a necessity. As soon as you know how to provide for yourself, nobody else is ever necessary. It's
That's
a
not true,
benefit.
because then how would you know how the world operates?
You don't have to know how the world operates if you don't care.
You don't care?
No, I'm not saying that.
So what are you
I'm
saying?
saying friends are a benefit, not a necessity.
I
Sometimes
think it's both.
No,
Because who gonna help you to grow?
you don't have to.
no. I understand where you're coming from. I do think there are some seasons where some people should be alone and just like have time to think on themselves
Right.
and reflect.
Do you see me
But
isolating anymore?
I don't think that's a thing that should carry on throughout your whole life. Then again, people
That's
are going to
dependent on the environment you're in with the type of people there are.
People are gonna. I said thinkle. People are gonna do whatever they want regardless.
Right.
And even
And
if
that's
it's,
not a good thing.
even if it's good or bad, people are gonna do what they want regardless.
What you want to do, if it's not necessary to life, and if it hurts your own life and someone else's, you shouldn't do.
But personally, based on my life, I think having friends around me was beneficial.
In certain ways.
In certain ways.
Because then,
Even the ones that were fake. Oh, do you feel like some friendships have a hierarchy?
Certainly, it's
Like
placed.
a power struggle?
It's purposefully. Those things are intentional. You know them. You know when you're, especially with, like it can happen with two, but that's usually with a group, with a clique, right? With a set group, you see friendships, government, monarchy, intimate relationships. They are identical because they're a relationship. The difference is the actions within the relationships. And what is created because of this relationship? What is the incentive of you being in this relationship? So a friendship is comfort, and in like a mental comfort, because you don't really do so much physical stuff unless you like hug and dab up and do like handshakes and stuff like that.
Wait. I do want to ask, if it was you and like another dude and you guys are good friends, do you feel like you're the dominant one?
Dominant
as a friend? Because I feel there are people who talk about friendships as like they're like if it's between two people, like there's a more dominant one. Which one do you feel like you are?
I don't have to be in a relationship. And that if I were in one, right? If I were in one, I would say I'm the
friendship.
Right, in a friendship, I am, because it's hard for me to classify friendship. But if a deemed societal friendship, I always care more about the other person and their feelings and their actions more than they care about me. But
so you're more
I'm not trying to. That's just me. I mean, I am trying to, but I don't care if they don't do that back. That's why I don't classify it as. I understand that in a friendship, that thing I'm doing should be reciprocated, but I'm not mad or emotional when it's not, because it's not necessary for me. I don't get anything out of the emotions of people.
In a friendship.
They do not emotionally stimulate me at all.
Got you.
Right.
I feel the same. I feel the same way that, like, that's why, like, when it comes to, like, birthdays and stuff, you know, you're getting, like, your friend a gift.
That's such a thing. Like, when anything happy.
When like, or if you're just doing something nice because they're your friend. You just want to do something, or like you thought of them, so you're just getting this. I do that quite often. Not even gonna lie, not even gonna front. But
and I look at you with a side eye. I'm like, what the hell are you doing that
But
for?
hey, it's cause it's what you just said. It's cause I don't really expect anything back, but I know that maybe they're gonna need this. Maybe they're gonna just need to know that somebody's there for them when they don't think so. Like maybe they can think back on it and be like, hey, Christiana cares.
Christiana cares.
Christiana cares.
I know she cares, but I'm not equipped to reciprocate that energy back to her because I'm immature.
But if it comes to the point where it's getting like hurtful to me, I will bring it up. So
right, but can they handle that?
I think that's
if not, then they're gonna have to grow.
Then if they don't, then how do you?
I'm gonna have to.
Getting out of relationships is another thing we have to
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about.
talk about that after. But what do you want to say, Mom?
Kelley?
Oh, I thought y'all muted me.
Let's talk about what your process is, or how you know it's time to cut off a friend.
When they betray you.
Obviously.
What's a threshold of betrayal you're willing to accept and correct versus exit from?
Yeah.
Again, when a person when you've, I guess I'll just have to be personal with myself, and because I was brought up, I'm the youngest out of 7 siblings, and as many of their they are, I would have had hoped to have a friendship with a sibling, but then you get around other people and you need an outlet to talk and things.
This is not the topic. No, it was.
I was getting to for the friendship betrayal.
Get to it.
Huh?
Get to it. You too far.
It starts off with you giving and giving and giving, not receiving any reciprocation.
Yeah.
Because at some point, your friend has to care about you too. You could be a caring person, and you can be a giver. And you can be a giver of gifts because that might be one of your love languages. But if you're in a friendship and there's never a time where you feel appreciated or you feel like, that reciprocation back in some form, then you know that, okay, well, maybe there's not. And then you tell them, this hurt me. And they continue to continue to
take advantage. Take advantage.
Yes, and then you allow yourself to be taken advantage of and manipulated. And I had to learn the hard way that some people get close to you just to betray you.
Some people do get close just because of how you are. And they're like, oh, I know that she's going to do this. So,
Yeah.
Some people do that. And I know some people have done that to me. And I'm just like, And I let it happen. But, you've told me about them. Thank you. But, to go off that, I think for me, how I know I'm ready to cut someone off is after, there's going to be red flags. There are red flags for friends. Please listen to them. And that doesn't mean cut them off right away. You don't have to do that because sometimes it could be a different situation that you're not thinking about. But yeah, you should address it in a way. After it's like gone past that line, I think you should address any problem that you have with a friend. And then if they just they don't even take that into consideration, I I think it is better to cut someone off. I mean, there are ways to work back into a friendship, but sometimes it's just not necessary. They were just there to be a chapter in your life, not there for the whole book. But I did want to talk about my story today about my friend. You ready?
Yeah. After I make mine.
Before you start, I wanted to just piggyback off of what you were saying about times and seasons, because some people do come in your life for a season and a reason. Whether to teach you a lesson about, and most of the time it's been teaching me a lesson about myself too, because if you're looking for validation all the time, sometimes them type of manipulative people will sniff you out. Mm-hmm. And so there's like this tree, the leaves come on it, the branches and the roots. Those how you have to evaluate your friendships. Are these leaves going to fall and blow away? Are these
don't forget the fruit
or relationship going to?
Don't forget the fruit.
Will the branch? Is it going to branch out? Is it going to take roots? Is it going to bear fruit? Yeah, like you said, is it going to bear fruit? And once you see if it's not flourishing, then you got to be like the leaves and fly away.
Right, but all these things are time-based. And when we're considering time, we're talking about maturity. Because through certain experiences, through certain time, you experience things. So experience is not always indicative within time, but usually that is the case. So when you get older, you start to recognize these things. However, if you have these experiences in a more concentrated fashion, like me personally, having these experiences in a concentrated way, which allowed me to be emotionally, not in the terms of communication, but emotionally mature at a very young age because of my experiences with certain types of people. And I knew how to avoid certain types of people and their conduct, or not get hurt by certain types of people or hurt by certain things.
Can you probably think about
listen,
that you may be emotionally numb?
No. Okay, so let me finish what I'm saying because I didn't interrupt you. So, all these things, when we're talking about the tree, is your expectation for this tree and to have its roots set in perfectly and to bear fruit? Do you have the expectation of a tree that's too young to even bear fruit? So when do you place these expectations on this type of relationship with this type of person? So what you require and what you're insistent on having within this friendship, is this something you can even acquire from this person? So are you emotionally and physically mature enough to recognize the difference? And how to detect these things and to know what friendships are going to, because all these things are learned experiences. But the earlier you learn them, the more readily able you are to avoid them later or not get yourself in certain situations.
That's good advice for anybody who's listening. My personal story, because I just want to talk about how I got there. I've told Mom this story. I'm not going to say any names. So I had this friend in senior year of high school. She wasn't just a friend to me. She was like a sister at that point. We were friends since freshman year. So I had a deep care for this best friend. Like, there was a group of 4 of us. We were all best friends. To this day, I still really appreciate them. This friend was getting a significant other, first of all, in not the best way to me, and not to many of our friends, but they didn't vocalize that. I more vocalized it. Rather on what was going on in her life, it was rather on how it affected our friendship. A lot of people may think that, no, it's maybe because you were jealous of this person, of one of your best friends finally getting a boyfriend. No, it's just the fact that I cared about this person, and you could see the red flags. Because for someone who was having their first relationship, it's going to be different for them, and sometimes you can't see, if you're in the relationship, you can't see what other people could see on the outside. That's for some people. They got the rose-colored sunglasses on, you know?
The love goggles.
Yeah.
You can't see from the inside of the relationship.
Yes, but as a good friend, I believe for someone to be a good friend, you should tell somebody if something seems a bit harmful, right? You agree?
Agree.
Yes, that's what a friend does.
Yeah. You let them know if something's off. And that's what I was doing. I thought I was being a good friend. But I was doing it in a nice way. Like, don't get me wrong.
With details of what you believe need to be corrected and identifying exactly what the problem is so they weren't confused with the instruction.
Yes, and and this friend agreed with me.
Okay.
Please remember that. They agreed with me. My other two friends agreed with me. And so when it came down to it, she would start coming to me and some of our other friends. She started coming to us for advice on how to deal with this boyfriend. And as I had said before, I had told her that this wasn't a good idea, because the way they got into the relationship, hella shady. It was obvious what was going to happen in the relationship. And some people may not understand that because I'm not giving too much detail. This is somebody else's life, so I'm not going to give too much of what happened, except for the fact that he started talking to my friend when he was still in a relationship. So tell me what's going to happen. Tell me what's going to happen, Emmanuel.
He's going to do the same thing to her.
Thank you very much. As I said, I care about my friends. So after a while, I was just like, I keep on giving her the advice, but she's not taking it. And she would come back and tell everybody that yeah, I didn't do that. I'm sorry. I did the opposite of what you asked. And stayed with the dude. Even though she came with a okay, whatever. I'm gonna try not to get a little pissed off. But when it came down to it, she would keep on asking for advice. I'd give it to her. She'd come back, say she did the opposite, and then things got worse. And so when it got to that point, and she was like telling all of our friends, we had a group chat, and in the group chat, I'm like, hey, I'm okay if you're okay with being with that dude, I guess. But I would like to stop talking about him because it's actually kind of upsetting that you're always asking for advice for this dude, but not taking the advice, yet you're always talking about him. And so I made that known that I wasn't okay with it. I wasn't okay with talking about this dude all the time because y'all know, it gets too much. And that's just too much of my life gone. Just a waste of time. So I told her that, and she started getting iffy. And that's how you know, like, one of your friends is just like, maybe that friend's not as mature as you thought. Because I asked her, like, we could talk about anything else, girl. I would love to still be her friend. I didn't distance myself. But she started to distance herself from me while continuing to still ask about the dude sometimes. And that's fine. Sometimes, okay. Sometimes it's okay. If you really need me, I'm there for you. But then it started to get blatant in my face where since my other friends didn't say anything to add, she introduced the guy to the other friend, he knew their names, but it was like I wasn't her friend anymore, but she still labeled me as one. If you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
if you know what I mean? But anyway, it came time to the point where it was just a bit too silly for me. And I'm just like, no, this is not what I want. It's not essential to me. It's not helping me grow. I'm not getting anything out of this at this point. I'm not giving her anything, it seems. I gave her all the advice that I could. When she asked, I wasn't giving her just unsolicited. Let me tell you that. And so I cut her off. And it was very weird the way it happened. She was saying that I distanced myself from her. And that is not true. I still wanted to be her friend. I still cared about her. I still care about her to this day. But it's obvious that she didn't change based on stuff that I'm hearing, unfortunately.
Hearing?
Yeah, I am hearing that. But, I mean, there is no way to verify since I don't talk to her like that.
There is a way to verify.
The last time...
Ask her.
That's a bit weird.
If you're hearing stuff about a friend that you want to know if it's true or not.
No, I'm not saying that's true, but
it just sounds
the
like
last
familiar.
the last time I did talk to her,
the traits are familiar.
The last time I talked to her, it was still emitting total immaturity about relationships, and I feel like definitely as a friend you should be letting your friend know how things are looking on the outside, even if they don't want to hear it. Like if I was in a relationship and someone was seeing something that I wasn't, I would definitely want to know.
Now with your mature mind you would do that.
Huh?
Now with your mature mind you would do that.
No.
Yes.
I think even back then I'd want someone to tell me.
Now with your mature mind.
Now the thing is, I wasn't expecting her to break it off with him the first time or the second time or even the third time I said something. Like, it's on you, on the people in the relationship to do that looking into if they wanted to, if they want to be treated right. But the thing with me was like, why keep on coming back with all these problems when actually I said I don't even think y'all should be together at this point. Yeah, that's not good if he was talking to other girls like that. And then they're like, oh, you're right. And then stay with them. It's just kind of, I feel like at that point, I was starting to think badly of her. I don't have anything against her today. I know she may have other stuff probably going on. And I know a lot of friends, you should consider maybe stuff that's influencing them to do some things that they do that's like not that good. You should think about that before we judge them completely. But I was definitely starting to think badly of her, and I don't like doing that, especially if we're going to the same school, if I'm going to be seeing you a lot. Yeah, so I definitely think it was beneficial to me as well to cut that off, because sometimes it's good for you and that person for that person to see, oh, well, maybe I did something bad. Maybe I should learn something from why someone I was so close to cut me off. And then for me, I'm like, maybe I could learn about something through, maybe learn how to approach better if it wasn't the best. I have those messages to look through to see if I could have done something better. But yeah.
Right. So if you are her advisor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're a third party to an investigation that she's not doing by herself, and she's not self-correcting on her own.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get your advice from? Who's your Who's your top friend?
My top friend?
Who's your? Where do you get your advice? Where do you get your correction when you need to? When you see, oh, I'm in this, so I can't see it very clearly. Where are you getting it from?
Honestly, I think I've had 3 people look into. Maybe I'm
talking about in high school.
In high school, back then for me.
In high school, yeah.
I had my best friend now was there when I was doing it, and I was texting it, and she's like, "Ooh, that sounds good."
Right.
And I'm like,
she wasn't supporting it because she didn't come in and do it herself.
The thing was, this is how you could tell the level of immaturity that the other friend had.
All of the friends.
Sure. Was that friend, she went to my best friend now, saying all this stuff and made my best friend cry over stuff. I'm not sure how that was done, but somehow she brought my other friend into it. I don't know. She could have left it between us. I didn't ask her to go to my best friend now and say anything.
Say anything about what?
I have no idea what I don't remember what she said to her to make her cry.
Was it something about, oh, Christiana cut me off?
Christiana said something about you. No, Christiana said something about me, something, and then trying to get information from her from why I was doing that. Why I was trying to not be friends from now. And at the end of it, it was actually that day that I was trying to I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this.
Remember when you told me this when it was fresh and I asked to look at the stuff and you like, no.
Yeah, because it's personal. No. At that point, it's fresh. It's personal.
Right. But I was hearing everything from the outside. I'm like, this is ridiculousness.
Huh?
This is ridiculousness.
What's ridiculous?
The immaturity.
How is what? On my part?
No, on the chick's part. I would have been like, yo, check it. This dude, no good.
You act like I didn't say that 50 times.
Check it. You ruined yourself. You're done now. You're done. Guess what? You're tainted. That's it. Guess what? This is the standard right here. Because I can't deal with toxic people, yeah? Right? No, I can't deal with toxic people. What you're doing to yourself is toxic, yeah? So this is what we're going to need. Because you're being toxic to yourself, anytime you're being toxic to yourself, you come to me. Guess what you're doing now? You're being toxic to me. Guess what? I'm not having it in my life. I can't deal with toxicity. Guess what? Because I am protecting myself. And because you come into my space with your problems, guess what? I love you. But you're being toxic to yourself. What's causing the toxicity in your life? It's this. Okay, easy eliminator. If you cannot do that for me, I cannot do this for you. Goodbye. And guess what? There's no problem left. Now the terms are set clearly. Clearly set terms.
I understand. I understand.
And without, you cannot go back. It's like, oh, I'm still talking to you. Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. You're toxic. You're not my friend because we don't have that relationship anymore. You can't come to me like this.
I do, because I did say to you
that... You can't come to me like this,
Okay, I get where he's coming from. I agree. I should have done it like that. I did do something off at the end. That's something that I do want to do better if I ever had to cut off anybody else.
Be clear and concise?
No, because at the end, she was... I was trying to get... I was trying to get her to stop talking to my best friend and making her cry, making her frustrated over this stuff that's just between me and her. I was trying to get her to stop doing that and stop trying to blame me and stop apologizing to me while also trying to blame me at the same time.
Wait, you did that?
Huh?
You went and did that?
What do you mean? What?
You said you went and stopped and told her to stop talking to her about this?
No, I was trying to get her to stop by doing something that wasn't mature on my part. I understand. Oh. I should have done it. I should have made it concise that I'm like, no, we're not doing this anymore. I did. at the end of the day, my actions showed that I'm not close to you anymore. We're not going to be close as you think. Because at the end of the thing, it was just like, at the end of the conversation, she was like, oh, are you okay? I'm like, me? I mean, not really. I mean, mentally, not doing that great in my own life. And I'm like, why did I tell her that? Like, I was still in the mindset that I'm close to her, while also being in the mindset that I'm not trying to be. And so that was really stupid on my part. Give me a smack on the head. Oh, I needed that. Because I really pissed myself off after that. But definitely my actions at school, I'm like, yeah, we're not going to be close like that. I'll say hi to you when I see you. But other than that...
You see that? Do you hear her story? Guess what you don't get? When you don't have friends, drama!
No, but
I'm kidding. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. I get the fucking drama. I get it. Because people trust me with everything. Because I am just like, I don't care. I'm glad that people do, but I'm like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this.
I get that.
But here, if you want something, if you want me to be your wall, sure. But understand, I'm not a wall. I have ears. So if you're doing something wrong, if you're doing something toxic, guess what? I'm going to treat you like I would treat myself. Correct this behavior. And if you don't ask anything from me. Don't ask me in this regard. You come back to me with the same question, guess what? The answer's still the same. If you keep coming back to me, I don't go to people with my problems. I don't go to people with my problems. I don't. Because I don't have them. They get solved quickly. Because most problems stem from an emotional immaturity.
I don't know.
Unless it's a natural problem that you can do something naturally to solve. I don't have complaints to give other people. I have certain things I like to talk about in regards to other people, but like myself, not really. Unless it's dealing with the people directly involved. Right? So I'd like to have friends that are on the same plane as I am, and then we can have that share thing, but thus far, because I have not found someone with the same level of idealistic friendship as I have, then I'm not going to do that. Right? There's people that have had, I found that I'm able to entrust more information with, but not to the standard of, the best relation. Well, I guess that would be marriage. Or the one you want to bring a child into the world with. Which is the best relationship on earth, is one that you create a child, or should be the best relationship on earth, the person you create a child with.
But yeah.
But friendship is a
wonderful thing when you do it right.
And most people don't. That's why if you have a lost friend, that's because you didn't do friendship right. That person maybe shouldn't have been a friend.
Huh?
If you're ever hurt by a friend, that's because you didn't do friendship right.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Friendship wasn't done right. That means you didn't.
Maybe they were there for just a little time.
If you end on bad terms, then you didn't do something right. Meaning you could have ended it early before it went bad and left on a good note.
But sometimes people are meant to be in your life at a certain time.
Right, but you're not meant to have hurt.
But yeah, you're not meant to hurt. But sometimes people are there for a lesson.
So if you are within a relationship, then that means you could have done something better. Anything else you'd like to talk about in regard to friendship? Oh, I could tell you, you don't want to hear it, but I took notes of where you could have corrected your friendship early on. Do you want to hear it, or you don't?
No, it's because she changed herself for him.
No, it's not that.
She did.
Okay, but she wasn't a different person. She didn't become that relationship, that type of relationship brought something out of her that she already was.
It gets crazy because a lot of people, what they tell you they're like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna do this.
It's a reprioritization
this.
of feelings and actions.
Like,
her energy was going into this, so it didn't go into you. But the complaints still went in. The confidence still went in to you. Confidence, I should say. Confidence still went in. But the energy towards keeping yours a good relationship was transferred into this new bubblegum thing.
Moldy bubblegum. It was old. It was used.
Right, but it's all understandable. And this,
we should talk about sluts. Male sluts.
Well, if you talk about male sluts, you gotta talk about female sluts.
No.
Yeah. Alright, this has been another episode of Breathing is Highly Dangerous. I appreciate you all listening and watching. Thank you, Christiana. Thank you, Kelley, for joining me. Please check out trustalltruth.com where the relationship series to the corrections and stuff will be listed on there. In the very near future, there's also some other lessons on there about choice. Be blessed, stay blessed, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Bye.